Welcome to the spooky season Songcast. My name's Kristen Ford. Here's a story about ghosts. So when I was in high school, my mother briefly rented an apartment at 196 Triangle Street in Amherst, Massachusetts. Amherst is a cool, quaint little college town, and there's lots of history. I mean, face it, America was around a lot longer before any Puritans started stomping around, but Massachusetts is up there with its towns and commonwealths and villages and provinces and little tiny streets that don't make sense in terms of the angles. And, well, anyway, my mother rented half of this white house on Triangle Street in Amherst. 196. You can look it up on Google Maps. It doesn't look that freaky. It's just a big old white house. Anyway, I was 17 at the time, and this house butts right up against West Cemetery, which is where Emily Dickinson was buried. She died in 1886. So, this cemetery is old, and this house is old. It was right up against it. And I always kind of had like a weird feeling about the house when I was living there. And I also was smoking a lot of pot at the time because I was a rebellious high schooler who finally got her driver's license, and I would go on burn cruises, and because it was a college town, there were way too many cops. And now it's funny that you can just buy pot legally in Massachusetts. Sometimes there's even cops at the busy parking lots directing you to go and get your illegal weed. But I digress. I was rebellious, and I did spend some time getting high and listening to music and being creative. And I also watched the movie The Ring at the time, which really freaked me out. It freaked me out more than it had any right to freak out somebody who had her driver's license. But I guess I have an overactive imagination. A few times, sleeping in this house on Triangle Street in Amherst, right next to the cemetery with all of the 200-plus-year-old graves, I would feel this sense that I would wake up in the night and I couldn't move. It was like someone or something was pressing down on top of me, and I knew I was awake, and I wanted to scream and I wanted to move, but I couldn't move. And the internet has, a word for this. They call it sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis demon is what has been auto-filled in on Google. But yeah, sleep paralysis is a demon-like experience, says healthline.com. Knowing that sleep demons aren't real. You wake during a dream phase of sleep, and you are unable to move. They say, the scientists and the doctors say that there's no ghost, but I think that's some ghost activity right there. And other things would happen in the house besides just an unsettling feeling and the movie The Ring scaring the believing jeebus out of me. Well, sometimes there was this just creepy feeling coming from the bathroom, which I know not everybody loves bathrooms, but there's just one bathroom in this our half of the house, and we would always leave the door open because when multiple people live in a house, you leave the bathroom door open, so it's not that freaky, oh, are you in there? Should I knock? There were no animals in the house or anything that would be causing a ruckus. So the bathroom door should have been open, and regularly it was shut. It wasn't just shut, it would slam shut, and no one would be around to have slammed the door shut. Objects in the kitchen sometimes would just move around on their own. And there was one time after a particularly potent burn cruise that I swore I heard a woman's voice speaking to me as I lay down in my bed. And she said, "Kristen, come up here. Kristen, come up here." And I said, "Oh, fuck no, hell no, no thank you, all the lights on. It was not going to happen. Anyway, my family rented at 196 Triangle Street, the bottom floor. On the top floor, there were 3 college student girls who were roommates. And they all, for some reason, avoided the very top bedroom because they said it was haunted. And one time, I got to go up there, and there was a basic attic room, but towards the back, there was a closet with like a small door. This house is pretty old, so a lot of the doorways are smaller in stature, but there was a small door with a lock on the outside of the door, and I didn't dare touch the door. There were very spooky feelings, but they just nonchalantly said, yeah, we don't go upstairs, or we don't live in the upstairs room because it's super haunted. And I said, really? You don't go upstairs? Because there was, more often than not, a light that would be on the very top attic room where no one was there, no lights had been turned on, and there's a spooky closet with locks on the outside of the door. Well, I was only 17. I didn't really know that much about saging or getting some kind of medium in there to ask what she needed or to get her out of there, but I just knew that the doors be slamming, spirits are crawling on top of me while I'm trying to sleep, and lights are turning on from the closet where some human being was probably locked in this house. And that's one of the reasons why I left Massachusetts. Been living in non-spooky Nashville, Tennessee ever since. I don't know what she wanted, this ghost. I think if I went back there, I would maybe ask her. Maybe she just wants some peace, but I don't think she was very nice. I think you and I both know that this house is haunted. I think you and I both know this ghost is mean.